Hello, hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We have happy people in the garden. So, yes, it is another wedding. Behind, I have the Shira el Haram, which is the street of the pyramids. So, I don't know if you can hear it, but it's kind of a mess. So welcome to the physical week of Libra. So I remind you that even if we all know that Scorpio has begun for the normal astrology, we are not guided by the astrology. We are guided by the Atlantean calendar that is referred to the different aspects of the constellations. Okay, so enjoy a lot this next 10 days, because after this arrives Scorpio. So if somebody doesn't know what a Scorpio is, so look for it and prepare yourself. We've been having a problem that maybe they say it's repeated. Like there's 281 and I'm in 82 in the transmission 82, but for me it says 81 and I'm in the correct transmission, so I don't know what's happening. Whatever. So I would thank you if you can tell the other ones in the other video that we are here, so they can come to this one. So of course the topic for today is logic and illogic. Okay, but at first, what we're going to do is to try to explain the idea of these next 10 days according to the Libra aspect that I wrote a little bit in the blog. There was a mistake in the, I don't know how it says the image that starts the video. So first of all, what we have to understand or acknowledge about this is the concept of duality. We talk about duality in Libra because, of course, it's two things. Okay, so in this concept of duality, what we have created. What we have created this idea is that dual. The word dual comes from the word Latin duo, and duo is, okay, so the word two is tuo. Okay, it comes from the same origin, TW, tuo. So this concept means that we believe in two different things. So duality for us is talking about two different aspects, two different things. But what happened? That through the history of humanity, we believed that everything that is two, by force, they have to fight each other, like to be against each other. And this is a very human concept, because we constantly in history has divided the things into one here and the other one against. So these two different concepts, one against the other, is the concept that made us believe today that duality is something bad. But duality as something bad is as something very, very human. For the universe, it doesn't really exist, the duality as we see it. It doesn't exist, the separation between these two concepts. For the universe, this is polarity. And polarity, it's talking about poles. One pole is positive, the other pole is negative. And both of them, they create magnetism that generates energy. So we need polarity in order to create energy, in order to exist. So when we talk about duality, we're talking about the quality of two different aspects to be together. Okay? So this is why when we in our when we are in our current times in the spirituality, for sure you have heard about the concept of we have to transcend duality, we have to get away from this world of duality, from this reality that is dual. But we have a mistaken concept of what is duality. It's a very human perception of two different concepts fighting each other, when the universe never sees two different concepts fighting each other. They both are working each other by polarity. Okay, so that's a good thing to understand. Okay, so from the very beginning we have this concept of in biology of this duality. Duality in biology is these two cells that is that one cell that makes meiosis. The process of meiosis is the unity becoming two. So two cells that divides 4, 8. So everything is dual constantly. So this duality is constantly creating mirror things. Okay. So this is why through the process of evolution we can see ourselves as dual beings: two eyes, two ears, two noses, the mouth divided into, the brain into, the heart into, everything is divided into two hands, two arms, two legs. Yes, everything is like mirroring itself constantly. So this is not a duality that says that each part of the body is against each other, but both of them are working each other. Mm-hmm. So basically, this duality of our things are the concepts that helps us to be in balance. Okay, that the eyes helping us to see beyond, the ears help to have balance so we don't fall down when we walk, the hands doing things, doing strength so you can grab things in balance. Everything, it's in balance. The feet to walk so you don't fall down. Okay, so everything is using the duality in order to hold the balance. So something that for most of the people maybe is something known, because we have read about it, we have heard about it, or you have studied, but for another bunch of people is not normal and they don't know it yet, is that the brain that makes this possibility, okay, of balance works in a cross. So this means that it's not this part of the brain that works with all this part of the body and like dual like this, but they work like in a cross. So this side of the brain is the one controlling this hand, and this side of the brain is the one controlling this hand. So all the right side of my body is controlled by the left side of my brain, and the right side of my brain is the one controlling my my left side of the body. So in a cross. So so basically, also one of the mistakes that we do when we realize that that the brain is also divided and controlled into different parts is that we usually also believe that the brain is so cut in the middle that it doesn't have any connection. So if I have been working with the right side, is because I only work with the right if I am working with the right side of my body, so this means that it's only my left side of the brain that is working. No, it's not like this. It's the whole brain that is working constantly for the whole body. So we usually have heard this about that we are using the 15 or 20% of our brain, and some people maybe believe that are tiny little parts of the brain that are working and the rest is not working, but it's not like that. The brain is like a machine, okay? So the machine is working all together. The whole machine is working, but maybe it's working in the 15 or 20% of its potentiality, okay? That's what it really means, but it's constantly working one side with the other. But we have this kind of branches that kind of connects more one side with the other. So also one of the things that we usually are thinking about the brain is that these two separations divide the brain in a believing that the right side of the brain is the illogical aspect of the brain. When we talk about the work that the brain does, this part, the right side, is the illogical and the left side is the logical, okay? So this means that the left side is the one that works with analytics, mathematics, and so on, and the other side is the one that works with the imagination, the dreams, that is able to create. So we usually say this because some parts, usually when we are in a creative process or dreaming or imagining, we usually use more parts of the right side of the brain, and when we are in some mathematics or something very logical, we use more the left side of the brain. But it's not 100% like that. Both sides are working together constantly, but one of them works the most when we are doing one thing or the other. So for sure you have heard that by reading, or in these new times of consciousness that we are, for sure you have seen any picture or something that divides the brain into the illogical part of the brain and the logical part of the brain. So in order to understand these two concepts, we have to go to the word that unifies both of them, which is logos. Logos is a Greek word that means idea, concept, thought. So whatever it is, a logos, it represents the idea that you have about something. So in the very beginning of everything, in the very beginning of not everything, in the very beginning of our philosophies, the priests and priestesses that started with all this, they understood that the world was not like this just by itself. That the world is made up with a lot of things that we cannot see. Now we know it's vibration and atoms. But at that time, they just picture that it didn't exist really. That the only reason that makes something be what it is is the idea that we have about that. So so everything that you see, we have spoken about this in many other videos, everything that we see is not exactly what we think it is. It's just vibrations and a conjunction of atoms, but we see things and we say, oh, this is that, this is this, but it is really an idea. So the ancient ones, they understood that everything that exists is just an idea, a perception of our brain. So by that they said, so if everything exists, it's because something must connect it all, and that thing that connects everything should be a mind, something that is thinking. So they said, okay, so logos is the real God, is the mind. So this is why in the ancient times they said that the first law of the universe is mentalism. So basically the concept of logos is talking about the creator, but we have to think about this. They didn't say God is thinking, because if God is thinking, so God should be created by another mind. So they said, no, God is not someone that is thinking and has a mind. God is the mind itself. So there is no God, there is only mind. So this is why the people that follow the teachings of those priests like taught that then was called Hermes by the Greeks. So the Hermetic people, the followers of Hermes, the Hermetic people were the ones calling God like logos, okay, because it was only that, an idea. And this is why we also hear Plato saying the world of ideas. So this is why logic means all those things that are related with the mind. Okay, all the things that are related with the mind. And illogic would be all the things that are not related with the mind. So that would be feelings, sensations. So why we say feelings? Because we can say that the mind is the one pulsing. It pulses ideas, it pulses thoughts, and those thoughts are going to manifest experiences, and those experiences will send back the pulses by impulses, and those impulses will come back as wisdom to the mind. So the universe is pulse and impulse. So the mind is pulses the idea and freedom of being created, and then the created sends back an impulse of information to understand what I have created. So basically what the universe is doing by pulsing is to project the idea, and the idea, in order to be assimilated again as an experience, must be felt. This means that the only way in which the mind can recognize what it has created is by feeling. This is why the feeling is the only way in which you can receive the data, not by thinking. So thinking, the mind, is just the idea that projects the possibility, but the only way you can acknowledge that possibility is by living it. You have to live it. Otherwise, you cannot plan that. You cannot make a planification of this. So what we have to understand is that the only way where how you can acknowledge and receive the information back is by feeling. So this is why the opposite thing to logics, to the mind, would be feelings that we call synesthesia. I don't know if in English it's like that. Synesthesia? Synesthesia? I don't know how to call it. It's the opposite to anesthesia. To anesthesia. Synesthesia. We are more related with the concept of anesthesia because we are more related to not to feel. Okay, but we are such a mental civilization that we call the synesthesia. I don't know how to pronounce it. We call synesthesia as illogic because we think that something that has no logical should be illogical, but not synesthetic. So anyway, things of the language. We are what we have to acknowledge is that what we are really doing, what we have to really do in order to acknowledge information is to live, to experience, because you are not more intelligent because you read. You are much wiser because you live. As much more experiences you have, the best information you can have. So basically the only way you are more wiser and you acknowledge much more information and become more wise is by experiencing. And this experience is also what we call the Cartesian, I don't know the word in English, Descartes method, which is a scientific method. Okay, so experimentation. But experimentation in science, it's only possible because of imagination. Because the only way in which you can recognize that something can be done in a different way is if you imagine, if you are able to think in a different way, to imagine a new possibility. So basically, imagination, which is the illogical tool, okay, is the one helping the science to develop, is the one helping the logic to understand itself. So you understand this concept that basically the illogic, the imagination, is the one helping the logic, the analytics, to understand itself. So the only way in which a human, an aware being, can improve in their lives is by imagination, is by dreaming that is possible. So this is why it's so important, the logic and illogic in our reality, in our body, because logic and illogic are the ones controlling our body, the feelings, and the way we perceive the reality. See? So I hope you got it, and if you didn't get it, I won't repeat it. So this is recorded, don't worry, and someday you'll catch it up. This concept was very philosophical, but I guess everything that we speak is very philosophical. Now we go to the information of the day. So just a thing before we start, that everything that I do, that we are doing, and everything that I remember I have done in my life is basically illogic. For me, it's everything that I do is illogic. It doesn't have any sense. But I do all these illogical things because I am thinking that this will help the logic to understand a different way, to change its perception. So the reason why with illogic I expect to help the logic is because the logic of this world today, what is logical, we usually think that or we hear that you have to be more logic. This is not logical. We have to be logics in these terms, whatever. We usually hear this concept, and the thing is that logic is mind, and mind is very organized, so it becomes a method, and that's how we call methodology. This methodology, this methodic way of working is like a system, so it replicates itself through mind, and that's what we call ideologies. We have too many ideologies, but the ideology of logics is not related with the feelings, with what really is happening in the world, the real concepts that the feelings can only perceive. So we need a civilization that is more able to feel, to perceive, to understand beyond the logics. So, and pay attention to this, that by logics, I'm also talking about spirituality, because we usually made spirituality as another logic. It's like if we are creating a method of our way of thinking in a spiritual way, and that's called religion, when we start to repeat an idea of what it is to be spiritual. So suddenly we project our expectations, our ideas of how it should be by spirituality. But what really happens is that a logic is not a method. It's just feelings, and feelings are changing constantly. Ideas doesn't. Feelings are adaptable to the environment, and they interpret what is happening. Ideas doesn't. So basically, ideology is a civilization. It would be a civilization more based in the perceptions, so in synesthesia. So this is why a lot of people is thinking that what we are doing here is illogical, and I really think that, because if we would be here with the logics of always, we would not be here to change, to transform the world. So another thing, the last thing, is that here talking about philosophy, I would love for us all to go back to what spirituality really means. That's the most important thing, to go back to the origin of spirituality. So the origin of the word spirituality comes from spiri and quality, which means the quality of breathing. So it's so easy, the quality of breathing. So basically, spirituality means to be able to be here and now and breathe within your body. The rest is illogical and logical. The vibration for today is Sha. Sha. The statement for today is I am spiritual evolution. The code for today is Nonet, which is a group of 9. The 8 external directions of time and space cube have only one common point, the center. The 8 internal directions and the one that joins them in the center constitute the concept that we call divinity. The 9th heaven lies within every being, and so the concept of the 9 implies the side of the 9 dimensions that constitute the divine being that we are. Sha. So let's go to make the alignment. Just the last thing before we go into this, that I'm saying not to make donations here because because YouTube is not giving us anything, because we don't have ads and so on. So and the other thing, if you want to donate and help me do keep going with this, remember that all the options, you have it in the blog. Yes, so you can check there and you have everything of how to help. And in the other hand, just to clarify something that I said yesterday, is about the trip in March next year, that some people misunderstood what I said yesterday about inscriptions. A lot of people thought that there was no places. Most of the people that is already subscribed to the trip, they thought that they have no more places, but this is not what I said. What I said was that we had so many inscriptions that that we already kind of logged the trip, but with them, not besides them. So what I want to say is that we have so many people that we are doing all the subscriptions with the people that we already have. Okay, so maybe you are in that list. Okay, so don't worry, we are not taking you out. Maybe someone misunderstood me. So I will ask for you not to cross the legs today. Just open them. If you are sitting in the floor, just do like this, or with the feet in the ground. Okay. So we begin stretching the body, yawning, massaging and caressing the body. I focus only in my breathing, letting all the weight of the body fall down. I feel the air coming within my body, nose, feeling it in the lungs, heart, running through the blood towards the organs and muscles. Take a deep breath, and I bring all my attention to my left foot. Take a deep breath and start to move your fingers, your foot, your ankle. And slowly, as you go up with this movement, feel like if it is a wave. The part that you moved before stays calm, and you move the next one, and so on. So you calm the feet, the foot, and ankle, and start to move the knee, the left knee. Then the hip by the left side. You turn the body a little bit to the left, and then go back to the center. Start to move the fingers of your left hand, the wrist, and then your elbow, your shoulder, and your head, your neck towards the left side in circles until you stand in the center again. Take a deep breath and start to move your neck, your head towards the right side in circles. Then start to move, bringing this movement to the shoulder on the right, the elbow, the wrist, the fingers of your right hand, you turn the wrist towards the right and stay straight again. Bring the movement to the right hip, to the knee, the ankle, making circles with the ankle, and then going back to the feet in the right foot until the fingers staying firm in the ground. Take a deep breath. I take my hands towards my head, touching the crown with the fingers, with 2 fingers, the one you used to point on the heart, the center one, and you put it in the crown, press and move in circles. Take deep breath. As you breathe and do this massage, press like opening the crown chakra, like if you are molding a pizza on your head. And as I do this, I perceive the light of the I Am getting inside my head. Take a deep breath. I relax my hands, feeling the sensation that remains in my head. I set myself able for the energy of the spirit to begin with my evolution. Take a deep breath and activate the vibration that allows the I Am to anchor in my crown. Sha, 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 I am the spirit in evolution. I am the spirit in evolution. I am the spirit in evolution. As I breathe, I allow myself to feel the energy, the consciousness of the spirit in my crown, going through each one of the joints that I moved until my feet. Sha. And as I start to move again my entire body in circles, I start to spread this consciousness through each part of my body by stretching, yawning, massaging. And I come back here now, opening my eyes. So, just an advice. If you are not able to move your body, if you have a problem with body that you cannot move in circles, you can use 3 things different, okay? Whether you use your feet, so you make a massage in the feet, beginning by one side, going up, and then going down by the other side, okay, like this, in circles, or in your hands, if it's easier for you, or in the ears, okay, the same thing. So some people were asking why to yawn. So we need to yawn because by yawning you are discharging all the rest of the energy that you don't need in your body, and you are taking new energy that you need for your body. It's an easy way of exchange of energy by yawning. In this week of the body, we have to be comfortable. So if you want to be stand up, laying down, whatever, as best for you, as more comfortable you are, the best. Thank you all for being there, and see you tomorrow at the same time for the third eye. Bye.